Attention, buyers and sellers in South Carolina. You need to know about this important change to the residential purchase contract that took effect in June 2022.
Hi, it's Frank and Tiffany with the Hereda team, realtors here in the Grand Strand. And today, we have a very important update to share with you.
As of the end of June 2022, the options for a repair period and as-is purchase were removed from the agreement and contract to buy and sell real estate residential form.
You may remember this video we did for you in the past, in which we outlined the repair period. Well, we can toss that out now.
The old options have now been removed, and the contract has been simplified to a straight due diligence contract. So, what does this mean?
A buyer and seller can now agree on a due diligence period, which is the timeline that the buyer has for inspections, repair negotiations, and amending or canceling the contract.
The buyer can now ask for any repairs to be completed and can back out for any reason at all within the due diligence period.
This sounds like a dream for buyers, right? So what's the catch?
Well, when making an offer, along with the due diligence period date, the buyer will also offer the seller a termination fee. There is no set amount for this, and it can be whatever amount that the buyer and seller agree to.
If a buyer would like to back out of the contract for any reason, they must deliver both a notice of termination and this agreed upon termination fee to the seller before the end of the due diligence period.
Let's say that the buyer does not want to terminate the contract. Then there are two options.
Option one is to proceed under an amended contract. For example, the seller could have agreed to make certain repairs, or maybe the buyer and seller agreed on a new purchase price. Whatever new terms agreed to must be in writing and ratified by the end of the due diligence period.
Option two is to proceed with the purchase under an as-is contract. For example, maybe nothing major was wrong with the property, and so the buyer is willing to simply move forward. Or another example would be that the seller did not agree to make any repairs or give any concessions, but the buyer still wants to continue with the purchase. Well, in this case, no additional agreements need to be signed.
After the end of the due diligence period, if the buyer chooses to back out for a reason other than one of their other contract contingencies, such as finance, house to sell, appraisal, etc., then both their due diligence money and earnest money are now at stake.
You might be wondering what happens if you actually want to make your offer an as-is contract to make it more appealing.
Even though there is no as-is option now in this version of the contract, you can put the due diligence period ending the same day as the offer date.
In this case, the buyer can still do inspections for informative purposes, but they do not have the right to terminate because of it.
As you can see, the contract is now a little easier for people to understand and easier for us to explain.
Before you go, we want to summarize with these 10 key takeaways. But first, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our great weekly videos. And now for the takeaways.
First, timing is more important than ever. Make sure to have enough time built into the due diligence period for inspections and negotiations and signatures.
Second, there's no set amount of due diligence money. This can be whatever amount the buyer and seller agree on and can even be nothing at all.
Third, buyers can now ask for anything to be repaired, even cosmetic items.
Fourth, buyers cannot ask a seller to do further inspections. If an inspector finds something and suggests further evaluation, it is the responsibility of the buyer to get any additional inspections so they can request specific repairs to be done.
Fifth, a buyer can ask for specific contractors to do the repairs.
Sixth, if the buyer and seller agree to repairs, once the repair addendum Form 525 is ratified, the due diligence period ends immediately. That means no more chance to ask for things or back out, even if there is more time per the original contract.
Seventh, the buyer wants to terminate the contract, the due diligence money is made out to and delivered directly to the seller. This can be a personal check. It is the buyer's responsibility, not their agent's, to ensure the money is in the seller's possession before the end of the due diligence period.
Eighth, as of now, there's actually no form in South Carolina that the seller signs to acknowledge receipt of the due diligence money. So if sending to the seller, the buyer should always send it overnight with a signature required.
Ninth, sellers must maintain the property in operable condition. If something happens after inspections are completed, the seller is obligated to remedy it.
10th, it's recommended for sellers to request a proof of funds for a buyer's down payment money. If the down payment amount is less than the due diligence fee, then we suggest asking for proof of funds for the due diligence money as well.
We hope this video helped you understand the new changes to the residential purchase contract in South Carolina. We would appreciate it if you would leave a like on this video if it did.
And we want to hear from you. What do you think about the new contract?
We love you. And if you have any more topics that you want us to explain, make sure to send us a note or a video.